Welcome to our first Perspective podcast. And I'm here with
Sharika, Katrina,
and myself, Brandt. And so today we'll be talking about astrology. So what do you guys like? What are your opinions on astrology?
So I think that astrology, I'm very conflicted about it. I'm not sure if I think it's valid or not, but I really want to believe it's valid because I believe in like the power of nature and the natural world, but I don't know because sometimes I get things that seem very accurate, but I also get things that aren't that accurate, so it might just be confirmation bias and I might just be getting a whole medley of things that could or could not be true.
So if we go by like our own like sun and moon signs, like personally I relate a lot with my own sun sign, which is Taurus, because personally I'm super stubborn, but and that's one huge part about being a Taurus, and I also love food, but my Virgo rising sign makes it so that I'm very picky with food, so it creates like a very weird like situation where I'm in love with food, but I have to have specific foods in order to like be happy. And so like I think that both of those relate like to me specifically so much, and so that's what makes me somewhat believe in astrology in my own opinion. So what about you, Cache? What do you think?
Well, I always read things about Capricorns being very hardworking and go-getters, but personally, I'm not. I'm kind of lazy sometimes, but I guess when it's really time to get down to business, then I will go after what I need to and do what I need to do in order to get things done. But sometimes there are things that definitely aren't true, and I think that astrology is like fun and it's interesting to look at, but also you shouldn't base your entire life around it because you're your own person. So
Yeah, I agree with that because like there's definitely like a pros and cons to believing in like astrology and stuff. Like for me, I'm not like a huge believer in it. Like I don't really, like you said, like base my life off of it, but I do see like some traits of mine. Like I'm a Scorpio, and not a lot of people like Scorpios, but it says like some of the positive like traits that I have are like creativity, and like I'm a very like loyal person, and I'm like pure. So
Yeah, I think that when it comes to astrology, if you end up judging other people because of like what their sign is, you end up like losing out on like a lot of friendships because not everyone is like exactly what their sign is. Because if you think about it, if two people are born like in the same place, like the twins would then, through astrology, they would have like the exact same personality, and like we know that not all twins have the exact same personality. So I think that like if astrology like was real, like environmental factors such as like nurture would definitely take into account like most of like what's happening. And so I think that like I do believe in astrology somewhat, but it's just that like not of like your entire personality and who you are isn't based off of astrology. Like basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like throughout my research for this podcast, I kind of saw more accuracy in the astrology chart in terms of my characteristics and the degrees for all the different signs. In terms of predicting my personality, it was pretty accurate, I thought, and I tried to look at it without any confirmation bias and like try to acknowledge what was truly wrong. But when it comes to horoscopes, throughout the years I've looked at horoscopes because I just think it's interesting, but I haven't really found any accuracy with horoscopes. Nothing that they say really comes true or has happened to me, so I kind of believe, I think I somewhat believe the astrology charts, but not the horoscopes.
Yeah, the horoscopes are like kind of crusty because like one time like it told me that I was gonna like meet like the love of my life, and like I was in like middle school, and I was like, I'm gonna meet the love of my life, and then nothing happened, and then I was like depressed, and so so we know that horoscopes ain't real.
Funny story, my mom is really into horoscopes. She has like tarot cards and everything. She's like reading them and whatnot, and so she thought like she was gonna die. Okay, this is not that funny, but she did.
So you're saying that your mom thought she was gonna die?
Yeah. So she thought that for a while, and she was very hesitant, and she stopped eating certain foods, and she's like, we're all gonna go gluten-free, no more like cheese or anything. And then like 2 months later, she realized that she wasn't gonna die, so we went back to eating junk food. Which is like, it was really weird. But I don't know, I feel like you don't believe horoscopes unless you, I don't know, unless you really need to, and you need to see something and like hear that you're gonna be fine, then go for it. But they're not always gonna be right.
Wait, does anyone know where like it originated from? Like where?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. How did people come up with all these?
Yeah, like
things?
The traits.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you're gonna be like this and like that. But I mean, obviously, it doesn't apply to everybody. But like, sometimes it's like
Babylonia.
like the same.
Apparently, came from Babylonia.
I just don't get how they could conclude so many things from the position of the stars.
That's true.
It makes sense that it happened back in the early BCs because they really relied on a lot of like outside sources and things like that to keep going. So
That's true. What if we like looked at like all of the horoscopes and all the astrology and stuff like modern day now, like with all of our technology and stuff? Do you think like it would change like traits and stuff like that, or do you think it would like be the same kind of?
My dad actually told me that if you want to like look at it at like a technical point of view, you would actually be the star sign 4 months before you were born because of like how things are actually aligned properly.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know what I would be like if I was born 4 months earlier, but I know that like if it was current, it might be like a little bit different. And we can read what our moon sign said. So I'm a moon in Sagittarius, which means highly imaginative, but may have difficulty concentrating. Why is it saying that? Luckily, he fantasizes frequently. Important studies may move around a lot and travel frequently. Well, ADHD over here. Oh, so that's correct.
Oh my God.
You are very responsive, communicative, and curious. You can have a talent for imitating others and or picking up languages. Well, and so, that's my moon sign. What are y'all moon signs?
Mine is a Scorpio, and it says, my feelings are very intense and never superficial. You tend to be either very angry or very sad or completely and totally happy. Your moods are deep, extreme, and not always completely understood by yourself or by those whom you have to deal. And I would say that's very, very true. like extremely true. I was sort of blown away by a couple of things, a couple of the specifics in my astrology chart. Yeah.
What are you guys' moons?
I'm in Aquarius, and it says that they're very observant, and it says they are lifetime students of human nature, loving to analyze why people do what they do. And then it also says this often stems from a detached, even shy personality, especially in youth. And I was like thrown off by this, but it says moon in Aquarius people often grow up feeling different. Although rather sociable, they are often loners at heart, which is so true because I'm lonely.
Oh, dating show. Promo.
Cache, what is your moon sign?
My moon sign is Aries. Apparently, it's a fiery position of the moon. I possess inner passion and fire. Emotional issues take precedence. There is simply no pussyfooting around when it comes to dealing with the feelings, I guess. I kind of don't agree with that because I don't deal with my feelings very well, but yeah. they live in the moment and have a hard time waiting for things to happen, which not true again, because I'm very patient when it comes to things like that. But you know, these natives take things very personally, and they deal with problems by facing them right away so that they can then get on with other things, which again isn't very true. I don't take things that personally, but if there is a problem, I do like to face them right away, because I don't like to deal with the I guess backlash of feeling like it's my fault. Actually, that is personal. I do take things personally. I lied. Yeah, that's about it.
Oh no.
And so that's our astrology podcast. And so, what are you guys' final thoughts on astrology?
I'm still conflicted.
Still conflicted?
I'm still conflicted. I don't really understand it as much. I'm not one to know the science behind astrology and stuff like that. But it is fun to look at and be oh, these are these traits are similar to my own traits, and yeah.
Well, there's two people in my life who really enjoy astrology, and so I kind of feel like I need to be involved in that world. Well, I don't need to, but I would like to, so that I can interact with them more. I don't know how to explain. So it's kind of, I don't think it's important. You don't really need to know your astrology and all that stuff, but it's interesting to know, and there's a lot of pieces to it that I didn't know about until 2 days ago. So that's interesting.
I think as much as I really, really want to believe in it, I don't think I believe in it. I don't know. I really want to, but I don't think I do.
And yeah, so that's our astrology podcast. And tune in a few weeks, so we will be talking about if you should stay together with your ex.
Ooh.